Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates All Levels. My name is Audra, and today we're going to use a ball and a band. If you're at home and you don't have access to those things, that's okay. You can fold a pillow a couple times. You can use a mini band for some of it. You can also just opt out. You can just squeeze your own beautiful muscles. And we are going to begin on our back, knees bent, feet flat. However, we're going to sneak the band around our legs, so underneath the knees, and we're going to tie a little bow because you're a gift. So tie a little bow. It doesn't have to be super tight, just to get you a tiny bit of resistance, and bring your feet a little bit wider than sit bone distance. And then using your glutes, press your knees out slightly into the band. I don't need them to go super far. It's just to give you a little bit of feedback. Making sure your toes are forward. One hand on your sternum, one hand on your low ribs. And we're going to breathe for a second. So as we inhale in through our nose and exhale through our mouth, I would like you to try to keep your exhale nice and slow, as if you're trying to fill up a balloon. And just start to notice what your hands are doing. So if your upper hand is moving a lot, that could indicate that your secondary respiration muscles are helping out a little bit too much. So think about your diaphragm lowering, your pelvic floor lowering, your transversus abdominis expanding three-dimensionally. And then exhale. Two more. Last breath like this. And now you can keep your hands right where they are or bring them to the sides. We're just going to exhale, imprint. So we're lengthening our spine towards the ground, tiny little tuck. Make sure you're not gripping from your hips or your buns, and then rock back to neutral. So the hip bones just are gently pulled towards your face a little bit. You're shortening the distance between your hips and your ribs, and then back. Couple more. Notice as you do this, if your knees start to wobble. It's not the end of the world, it just is information, right? So if you start finding that you can't keep even pressure on the band, see if you can bring just a tiny bit more awareness to it. Two more. Last one, hold your imprint. Now press down into your big toe mound. Press down into your hands if they're on your sides, and peel your spine up into your first bridge. Now check it out, right? First one never counts, but is your weight on your neck? Are you lifting from your armpits? Do you feel this in your back? If you do, hollow out through the front of your body, let your ribs lower, tuck your tailbone, and then melt and roll all the way down. Couple more. So it's as if you're peeling a sticker off the wall and then relaxing through the glutes on the way down. Two more. And then keep noticing what the knees are doing. Last one. And come down. On your exhale, lift your heels so your toes are on the ground. And then without letting anything shift, bring your legs to your tabletop. Good. See, Elizabeth, that looks pretty good, but you might want your band a little bit looser. Yeah. So go ahead, bring your hands behind your thighs. Press your legs into your hands for a second. And then you can bring your hands back. On your exhale, tap one toe towards the ground. Allow it to float back up. Other side. Does that feel a little bit better? Good. And reach. Now, if you have kind of a loose band, that's a light band and it's kind of loose, you can always make it a little bit tighter. If you have a really firm band, you might loosen it slightly. The band is just giving us a little bit of feedback though, right? So you're thinking of the hamstrings and glutes pushing the band away. Using your breath to help your core stabilize itself. Couple more. Last one like this. Now go ahead, bring your knees in towards your chest a little bit more. So if you come into an imprint, that's okay, but then try to find neutral with your knees as close to you as you can comfortably get them. Good, and we toe tap again. Notice how getting that knee closer to your chest, holding it there is more core work, yeah? Elizabeth, can you bring your knees closer to your face? Yeah, keep them there. Is that more exciting? Yeah. Nancy, you can bring them a little closer a bit. Yeah, there you go. Good. Nice, good. And then keep it there. Yeah, so as this leg extends, don't let the knee move. Only take the leg as far as you can stabilize the other knee. Good. Now, maybe you stay here. Maybe you interlace your hands behind your head and curl forward. Now, if you tend to grip through your neck and shoulders, one easy way to help with that is using the mat to help you. Now, if you'd like, you can start extending the leg away. Now, the band might roll up, and if it gets uncomfortable, you can actually move it to your feet. It's a little bit more work if it's on your feet. Yeah, yeah, if it's comfortable. Good. So we're trying to find a little bit of deep hip flexion as well as some hip extension. We're trying to find abs, hip flexors, hip extenders, right? We have just a couple more. And 3. Good. And you can always get rid of the band if it's causing more trouble. Then help. Last one. And bring your feet down. Head comes down for a second. We're going to curl forward and then feel our shoulder blades underneath us. So curl forward, feel where your shoulder blades are. So we're trying to curl from our collarbones, our abs, not our neck, right? So if you feel your shoulder blades underneath you, curl forward. Now inhale, exhale, rotate so one of your shoulder blades lifts off the ground. Come back to center. Exhale, other side. If you need to, come down in between, that's okay. And rotate. Now, how does this feel with the band either around your knees or your feet? It's a little bit, hopefully more stable because you can find your glutes, but it can also be a little bit trickier because we're not really using our inner thighs here the same way. We have one more each side. And come back to center. Now, if it's appropriate for your body, bring your legs back to tabletop or a little closer. Come into your chest lift, rotate to one side, push the opposite foot away. Fold it all in. Other side. So we are doing crisscross with the band. If extending isn't for you today, no problem. You can always tap. If having your head lifted isn't for you today, that's fine. You can always take your opposite arm across your body and push into your leg, still activating those muscles. And if you can, today, because we have been working a little bit of deep hip flexion, if it's appropriate for your body, try to get your elbow and your knee together and push into them. For a couple, 4, 3, 2 more sets. You guys doing okay? Good. It is hard. Last one, each side. And then come all the way down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. We're going to take the band off of our feet. Now, if it's still in the bow, we can undo it. Hopefully. I've never been good at these. There we go. Okay. I'd like it in one long strip. Now, go ahead and flatten it out so you can put the flat part behind your head. And kind of wrap your hands a little bit. Okay. So we can bend our elbows. Think about connecting down with your lats. Good. Now, straighten your arms so your knuckles are to the sky. Good. And then slowly bend your elbows. Straighten your arms so your knuckles go to the sky. Think about your arms kind of plugging down. 2. Last one. Bend the elbows, hold. Now keep your head heavy on the band, but it is stretching. So I want you to keep the same angle. Hold down with your armpits, curl forward. Keep your elbows bent. Elbows bent, more. Pull your elbows down toward your hips. There you go. And then back. Good. And then curl. It's like the ab rocker. If you guys have ever seen that. 2 more. Last one. Hold. Bring one leg up. Yeah. Bring both down. No problem. Curl forward, float, and down. Really think about curling towards your leg and extend. Now, if it's appropriate, extend both legs. As you curl forward, bend one knee towards your face. Extend. If you need to get rid of the band, is that okay? Yeah. If you need to tighten up on it, also fine. Good. Now, if this is appropriate, stay here. If you'd like, you curl, hold, extend, and then extend it all the way down. Slide it and curl forward, up and down. We have a couple more here. Good. Curl, extend, down, slide it in. And if this is appropriate, stick with this. Otherwise, we're going to take the band away. We're going to extend both of our legs to the sky. Use your abs to curl forward. Hands behind either your thigh or your calf as you extend one leg down. Inhale, exhale, switch. Now, if you need to be down here, is that okay? Yeah. Now let's see what we're doing here. Are you pulling with your arm? If that's okay, or if you are, that's okay. But maybe hold, pull with your arm, and then let go for a second, hold with your abs. And then pull with your arm, hold with your abs. If your knee bends, is that all right? Yeah, of course, right? Still same thing, head down or up. If it doesn't feel okay to curl forward and have the legs extended, either bend the knees or keep your head down. One more each side. And head comes down, hug your knees in toward your chest. Nice work, you guys. Extend one leg, other foot is flat. Same side arm as extended leg is coming overhead. Other arm is to the sky. Think about the arm that's to the sky is going to reach across your body and start you rolling. You can push into your foot and then peel back. So here's the thing. A lot of times we tend to want to move our body in one piece when appropriate, which is great. And if you need to start with that, that's fine. But we also need to be able to move it segmentally, okay? So if you can, peel it. So your arm moves, your head moves, your shoulder moves, your ribs move, your waistline moves. And then on the way back, your hips bring you, your ribs, your shoulders, your head, and then your hand, your head, your shoulders, your ribs, your hips, and then your hips, your ribs. Yeah. Now, if that's pretty easy and you'd like to advance it, extend both legs. And keep the peel and roll. Couple more. Last two. And then we get to do the other side. Good. So maybe let's start with that leg bent, opposite arm overhead, peel and reach. If you need to, start with one piece, right? All moves in one. Okay, great. Now, can you separate it out? That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. It's more if it's up, it's out of your way. But if it's out, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. When you go forward, think about your head and hand starting, and then shoulders, and then ribs, and then hips. And when you come back, think hips, low back, ribs. Yeah, so it's like a peel, like you're peeling a sticker off the wall. And if you want, you can extend both legs. Notice how when you extend both legs, it takes a little bit more effort, right? It's hard to get out of the strategy of over gripping the hips. So you kind of have to make sure you're using your breath and allowing your spine to move as freely as possible. Two more. Last one. Good. And I'll come back to center. I have rolled off of my mat, so I'm going to slide back down. We're coming into a hollow body shape or a hundreds position shape, okay? So whatever version of hundreds is best for you is the position I would like you to come into. So if your head is down, feet down, that's great. We're going to start pumping our arms. If head down, feet up is where you are, fantastic. If feet up, head up is where you are, amazing. If head up, feet out is where you are, cool. Does not matter to me. Just inhale, trying to keep your torso still and stable so we're not bouncing. And we're using those arms to challenge our stability, right? If we're just kind of letting them float, it doesn't really have the same challenge, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug everything in. Nice job. We're going to find your same hundreds position. And now when we rock from side to side, instead of peeling like we just did, we're going to try to find one piece. So I like a little bit of support for my head. Squeeze those inner thighs together. We're just going to try to rock onto one side. Hold. Yeah, I'm back. Other side. If you're like, how do I go? Guess what? You can always put one foot down, no problem. You can always use a hand, right? So whether you're supporting yourself with your hand or pushing yourself with your hand, that's okay. We're just trying to pick the difference or find the difference between a peel and one long line. One more each side. Notice how one side might feel different than the other. Come back to center, head down, feet down. Yeah, they are. Bring your hands to the sky. Now we are doing a roll up. This first one does not count. So you can bring your arms overhead if it feels good. Bring it in front of your face. Inhale, reaching your fingertips forward, and then exhale, roll. Good. All the way forward. Yeah, nice job, you guys. That was great. Hey, guess what? Sorry, I lied. First one counted because they were so good. Now, hands forward. You can reach your toes or your calves. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Lift your ribs. So we're rounding, and we're just going to peel and roll. One bone at a time. And then make sure you use your breath. Good, good. Now, we have options. Maybe you need a pad under your back, right? Maybe you need to be able to use your leg to assist you. No problem. Maybe your quads are a little tight. And so maybe you need to bend your knees a little, right? Maybe the way down is so easy and beautiful and perfect, but on the way up, you need to use one of our side strategies and then help yourself up that way, right? You know, I'm okay with the feet sliding because honestly, like if we're curling, they kind of have to come with, right? So some people are like, the idea is more if you're reaching out through your feet, you've got energy, but they're still going to kind of move, right? Yeah. Good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Oh, you just did an amazing teaser prep. Great. All right, let's grab our bands. Now, we have the ball. So if you need a little bit of support for your low back, you have it, okay? I like to bring the band across my feet. I'll show a couple different variations. So if you need the support of the ball, fantastic, have it behind you. And you can even bend your knees if you need, okay? Otherwise, shoulder blades draw down out of your ears, curl your tailbone, belly button in, think about your elbows pulling down and then back. So then ribs in. Yeah, good, hold that everybody. Feel the work in your abs and a little bit in your back. Yes, okay, great, and then bring it. I just wanted to make sure. So it's tempting to kind of be here, but we want to think about the collarbones widening, ribs coming in, yeah, and then back. So we're in this position for a couple reasons. One, a lot of times, if we're trying to get our lower traps, our mid traps, if we have overactive extensors, we tend to pop our ribs a little, right? So we are keeping our ribs down. We're keeping abdominal control. Good. So now we're working our postural muscles as well as our abs. So good, right? Great. I'm glad you're all coming with me on this journey. 2 more. Try to keep the shoulders down. It's not about power. It's about form, right? Because once we have our form, it's easier to find power. Good. Now, arms forward. Bend one elbow. You can look with it. And other side. Arms forward. Straight arm forward. Yeah. That straight arm forward should help kind of push you. So, good. Hey, Elizabeth, don't let your biceps help as much. Don't let your biceps help as much. Find your tricep on your left side. Straight arm on your left. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Good. One more each side. Doing okay? Okay. Good. And then you can come back to center. Shoulder blades draw down your back, and we're going to bend both elbows. Now, keep bending one, or keep drawing one shoulder blade back and then straighten the other arm. Hey, guess what? You immediately rotate, right? And then back to center. Now both arms are back, and then other side. It is a lot of ab. It's a more intense version of what we just did. I did trick you. Yeah. Couple more. We're almost there. 2. You're welcome. Last one, each side. And both arms forward, around the back. Nice job. All right, how you guys feeling? Pretty good? All right. So go ahead, wrap it up. And I like to bend my knees for this, just because that's what my body says it needs. If you want your legs extended, that's fine. Shoulder blades out of your ears as you roll back just a little. Now, widen through your collarbones, bend both arms back. Good. And then back. Now it's just a slightly different angle. If this does not feel okay on your shoulder, keep it down. You don't have to go into a T position. I'm going to show a couple different angles. Good. Nice strong wrists. Yeah. Good. So do you feel how your wrist is kind of here? Keep it a little strong. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Nice. 2 more. Are those shoulders feeling great? Yeah. And all we did was change shoulder position. Good. Last one. Hold. And hold for 4. Hold for 3, 2, and last one. Good. Go ahead. Take the band. We're going to have it kind of like a little shawl. Good. And you can sit crisscross applesauce. You can be on your knees. You can sit with your legs extended. We're just going to reach our fingertips forward. Think about your pinky fingers, fingertips forward. Yeah. Pinky fingers are going to help you. So we are scooping our shoulder blades and then letting them come back. Just scoop and down. Now, as we do this, keep the arms straight. Reach from the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades. I know it sounds weird, right? But our shoulder blades should be able to move. And then, yeah, much better. And our hands just move because our shoulder blades move, right? So this should just give us a little feedback. Good. Hey, Elizabeth, that looks great. You looked scared when I said your name. No. That looks. No. That looks good. No, that looks good. However, if you can try to keep your shoulder blades just down this much, it should be a little bit less in your neck, right? Yeah, I figured. It's almost like you're trying to squeeze the band with your shoulder blades. Yeah. That was better. Did that feel a little different? Yeah. Because it's a, yeah. Last one. Nice job. Now, now you can bring it underneath you. Good. And we're going to reach one arm across us and just kind of feel what the band is doing, right? It's not huge. We shouldn't be like feeling a crazy ton of work. We're just trying to find that kind of muscle engagement, right? So use the band as like, think of it mirroring the fibers of your muscles, right? Yeah. Bend your other elbow. Yeah, push towards me, there. So it's almost like a little stretch, a little mobility. Yeah, as lats and serratus, yeah. So mostly like the lats should engage, but that serratus anterior rotates around. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah, a little lean is fine. I'm not mad about a lean. Good. Think about stretching down your side. Good. Yeah. Last one each side. Now, if sitting like this doesn't work for you, you can always be here. You can always be on your knees. You can always sit on a prop. Last one. Nice job. Come onto your knees. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so if being on your knees doesn't feel great, you can always do this standing. So just in case. And let's actually find this without the band for the first one. So think about one arm being just kind of out to the side. Touch where you feel the work. It should be deltoid, right? A lot of times if we try to lift the shoulder before we lift the elbow, we feel it on our neck. So let's try it like that. See if you can feel the difference. Yeah, a lot of neck tension. Okay, relax. No more neck tension. Just find that shoulder. Good. Beautiful. Now, keeping your elbow basically in one place, you're going to rotate your upper arm bone back. You should feel the back of your scapula kick on a little bit. We are tucking our shoulder blade, keeping the ribs in. Everybody feel that a little bit? Yeah. And then you can bring it back, deltoid. Think about the upper arm bone rotating and then back. Okay, now if that's where you are today, fantastic. If you would like to add on, it's band time. So making sure that you're keeping your wrists nice and strong. If you go out here and you're like, oh, that's so much work, take some of the tension off the band. That's it. Yeah. Same arm. Yeah. Same arm, opposite knee. Yeah, there you go. Now, inhale, exhale, rotate from the upper arm bone. Yeah. So keep your elbow down just a little bit. Yeah. And think about your elbow pointing forward slightly. Yeah, good. And then back. Good. So a lot of times when we do this, if we have limited external rotation, our body's instinct is to retract, right? Tries to squeeze together. So that's why we're thinking of just rotating. Just rotating. Good. 2 more. It is hard because that rotator cuff is like full of like small muscles, right? Yeah, well, they're like the steering wheel, right? As opposed to the wheels. Yeah, they're like guiding it, but they're not used to doing all the work. Yeah. Now we're gonna hold this last one. And now just retract. So squeeze the shoulder blade together. Now widen your shoulder blades. That's it. It's a little tricky. Retract and protract. Ignore the arm. Arm doesn't count. So all we're doing, just so you guys can see it, we're pulling the shoulder blade back. We're pushing it around, right? So if this is where my arm is, or this is where my arm is, it's the same move, right? Same move. So if you need to change the position of your arm to find it, and then once you find it, you can play with arm position, okay? Yeah. So it's just a retraction, protraction. So now we're getting rhomboids to kick on as well. Lower traps. Last one. Don't bring the arm forward as much. Think about the shoulder blade and pushing your elbow out. Towards me. Less straightforward, towards the wall. See where your elbow angle is? Yeah, like you're gonna high five someone. Yeah. Last one. Good. Other side. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. We're going to try it without the band. And then we get to try it with the band. So first one, just see where you feel this. Relax your shoulder. Yeah, much better. And then now try it like this, where you're like, ugh. Oh, that sucks. Relax the shoulder, right? Now see if you can keep it relaxed as the elbow comes out to the side. Deltoid should be kicking on. Okay, now hold that. Think of just that upper arm bone only. Shoulder blade, right? So a lot of times, if we, for example, are weak in an area or so tight that we can't find range of motion, aside from retracting, our body also tries to get the range from our wrist or our ribs, wherever it can, right? So don't worry if you don't have the same range of motion on one side that you do on the other. That's normal. Good. Now, if you want, you can add the band. Once again, if you're like, oh, this is already a lot of work, lighten the tension or drop the band. Yeah. So Elizabeth, that looked awesome. Elbow a little bit more towards me. Shoulder down, elbow forward, hand back. That was perfect. I think you might need a tiny bit less tension on the band. Just move your knees so you don't have to, yeah, there you go. Yeah, good, good. Good, I was like, wait, you already did that side, yeah. Good, oh no, you're fine, yeah. Good, does that feel better? Or more exciting? Good, elbow back a little. Yeah. Yeah, there, Monica. This side. Yeah, because it's hard. Because it's hard. Yeah. We have 3. Good. How often do we do this in real life, right? And 2. Last one. And we hold. Breaks are great. And then draw the shoulder blades together. Push the shoulder blades apart. Elbow slightly forward, hand back, that, yeah. And then find that same position, elbow out, yeah. Did you feel how your shoulder blade moved when you moved your elbow? Yeah. Same thing, yeah. Small little retraction, protraction. Once again, right? I'll show you. We're trying to find our retraction, protraction, right? Now, whether your hand is here, or here, or here, it's a similar move of the shoulder blade, but sometimes our body just has trouble finding it from certain angles. No problem. Try it a different way. Exactly, yeah, that's why we're doing it. Yeah, so maybe with the band, maybe without. 2 more. You guys got this? Breaks are great, right? 2. Last one. Nice job. All right, shake it out. We're going to gently stretch your pecs real quickly because I think that most of us have tight pecs. We have a couple different ways we can do this. This first one, flip your palm up. Bring your thumb out behind you a little bit. Palm up, yeah. Now just turn away from the hand. Good, yeah, and breathe. So I don't know where you feel this. You might feel it in your pec. You might feel it in your bicep. You might feel it in your forearm. You might feel it in your fingers, depending on what's tight. And then we're just gonna flip our palm down, or yeah, fingers down, palm up. Oh. And then other side. Palm up, thumb back slightly, open the pec. Yeah. And breathe. You might feel this differently than you feel the other side. Could be something as simple as you're a lefty, and maybe because you write with your left hand, you feel it more in your forearm on your left, right? Good. And then back to center. We're going to roll our shoulders up, back, and down a little bit. Then we're going to try to get a little bit of just easy range of motion here. I'm going to turn my back so you can see what I'm doing. And you'll be able to see where my mobility is. So arms are just gently going to be out to the side. We're going to let this relax, reach one arm up to the sky. Other hand comes down, you're going to bend them, try to get your fingers together. Maybe they can touch, maybe they can't. Then bring it down. Then reach one arm up, bend, and notice on one side, my fingers don't get anywhere near each other, right? That's okay. If you have one side that's like that, just hold for a second, breathe. Tell your body it's safe. And then we get to do the other side. Right. And see if you can just gently encourage the side that's maybe a little restricted to just gently, hey, Elizabeth, instead of bending like this before you get there, don't even worry about bending the arm, just reach the arm. Yeah. And then other side. Yeah, much better. Allow yourself to take up some space. So if when you go to touch, you're like, I can't get my arm up high enough to do this, it feels weird in my shoulder. Don't worry about it. Just lift the arm to a position that feels comfortable. Yeah, yeah, looks great. Right? So on one side, I'm like, no problem. The other side, I totally get why maybe it's a little bit harder, right? So just find the side that feels good. Maybe it bends, maybe it doesn't. Side that might be restricted, maybe it bends, maybe it doesn't. One more, each side. You all right? Yeah. So don't worry about range, just let it stretch. Let your body just get a little bit of stretching and mobility. And while we're doing that, we're just gonna bring one arm overhead, side bend, and then other side. We're going to come into a plank. It's going to be great. You have the option of using the band to help you access your serratus anterior a little bit more. If you want that, bring it around your ribs and then create a little bit of tension. Now, if you're like, that does not feel great for some reason, don't do it. Get rid of the band. Now, shoulder blades draw down your back, widen them, push into the floor. Yeah, find your abs, slide one foot back, fold it in, slide the other foot back and forth. Keeping your ears forward. Now, if a regular plank feels great for you, we're going to regular plank. If a knee plank feels better for you, you're going to knee plank. Otherwise, come out into your plank. Good. Lift your hips a little bit for me. Yeah, gorgeous. Yep, lift up even more. Hold there. Hold for 1 second. Elizabeth, hips up just a tiny bit. Good. Nancy, hips. Yeah. Now, you can hold this or you can bend one knee underneath you and reach it back. If you're in a knee plank, you can either hold or tap. Couple more. And 2. Last set. Good, knees down. Press yourselves into your rest position. Take your hands up and over to one side, press your hips back and away. And then other side. Bring your hands back to center. You can either keep the band on or take it off. Bring one hand behind your head. If you're keeping the band, you want to keep a little bit of tension. So it's going to help you rotate to one side. And then a little bit of resistance on the way down. It should help you rotate and back. I'm going to get even more tension. If you try it with the band and it's not your favorite, don't do it. 2, try to keep the rotation through your rib cage. And then other side. So we press and rotate. Think about the band kind of shortening to pull you. Yeah. Elizabeth, that looks lovely. If you're feeling it in your neck, bring your hand to your chest and rotate. Yeah, is that a little bit more thoracic? Good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that looks great. Good. Yeah. Monica, if it feels okay, instead of lifting your elbow up higher, keep your elbow and hand either on one plane or hand just behind your head. Yeah, 2. Last one. And we get to come on to our side. Yay! You can move the band, you can get rid of it for now. You can use the ball as a little pillow if it feels good. Go ahead, unwind your hips for me. Lift your bottom ribs as if you were sliding a sheet of paper under you. Extend one foot out. Now, making sure that you're not just inherently flexing at the hip, we want a long front of the thigh. Neutral pelvis if possible. Now, just think about your foot being connected to a wall, push it into the wall, and then push behind you. Push behind you. So that glute max is starting to kick on a little. Yeah. 3, 2, keep it behind you. Now, keeping it slightly behind you, keep that foot dangling, push the foot away, it's going to start to lift up. Now, if your hips moved, you went too far. So push your foot away from you a little bit more. Yeah, good. And behind you slightly. Yeah. Do you feel more glute? More back here? Yeah, good. Lovely. We have 4. 3. And hold. Tiny little circles. Think about dragging it back behind you. Good. We have 5, 4, 3. A slow, juicy move. And reverse. Good. We have 4, 3, 2 more. And hold. Good. Now let's flex at the hip as the leg slides forward and then drag it back as if we're dragging it through wet sand. And then it can flex and drag. Now, if you need a little support, you can always keep the foot on the ground. Honestly, for me, this is much harder because my abductors, my abductors tend to want to work more than my adductors. So if you tend to have a tight TFL, it might not be a terrible idea to try it with the leg on the floor. Otherwise, of course, keeping it nice and elevated. 2 more. Last one. Hold. Good. Now, keeping that foot pushing away from you, come up onto your forearm. Yeah. Nice. How's that feel? More exciting? Great. Now, you can either keep it elevated, come into a little side plank and back down, or you can keep it down and come into a little side plank. Of course, you can be on your hand. You have 3, 2, last one. Good. And we get to do the other side. Nice job, you guys. Don't worry, we only have one more side because we're people and not an octopus. If we were an octopus, we'd have to do 7 more sides. So go ahead and extend and push the foot away. Imagine that your foot's against a wall and press into it and press into it. Although if we were an octopus, we'd probably be in the water, so we could do all 7 sides at once. Good. Give me a few more. I might legitimately be slightly obsessed with octopi, so we'll talk about it after class. I have 4. Good. 3. Everybody feel that glute just kicking on a little bit? Good. 2. Try not to brace through here. Yeah. Good. Now, roll your top hip bone forward a teeny bit. Yeah. Let your foot dangle, push it away, let it start to come up, right? If the hip hikes, you went too far. And down, and push it away, keeping that foot ever so slightly behind you, especially if that front tends to try to do more work, right? Good. We have just a few more. Pushing the foot away. So here's the thing. Yes, your obliques, your TFL have to work because we're trying to stabilize your pelvis. What we're trying to avoid is a hip hike, right? So that's obliques and QL working concentrically as opposed to their isometric function. Last one, and we do tiny circles. Good. Letting the thigh bone just gently stir in the socket. For 5, 4, good. Breaks are great. 3, 2, and reverse. Doing okay, Monica? Breaks are great, yeah. 2, and then we bring the foot forward, hip hinging, and drag it back as if you're dragging it through wet sand. And then forward and back. So once again, you can always keep the foot on the floor for a little bit of support, depending on if you have tightness in your hip. Good. We have 4, 3, 2 more. Gorgeous. Last one. Good. Bring it back and you can come up if you need to. You always can bring that foot down. Now we're going to lift up into that side plank, then slowly tap down. We're trying not to collapse, right? So whether the foot is down or whether the foot is up to you. It's the same move, just a little bit more supported versus less support. Okay, we have 4. Good. 3, 2, beautiful. Last one. Good. Come on to your stomach. Now, if you tend to feel really uncomfortable with your head down because you feel like you need a little bit more support, you can either fold your mat a couple times and put it underneath your forehead, or the ball or a yoga block. We're going to suction cup your hands to the ground. Think about your armpits dragging your hands back and down. Press into the ground here with your hands and your elbows to kind of lift your collarbone slightly. Exhale, squeeze your glutes. And then you can start fluttering your feet. You can also squeeze one glute at a time. You can also come all the way down. If your hip starts rocking and you feel this in your back, come down, tuck your tailbone, one leg at a time. It doesn't even have to lift off the ground. Now, if this feels good and you would like a little bit more, you can bring your hands forward. If this feels good and you want, you can do opposite, arm and leg. And if that feels good, you can float. Trying not to be on the rocky seas. 2, press yourself back into your rest position. Hands up and over to one side. And then other side. We're going to come all the way to standing. And come all the way up. Now, we're going to take a second and we're going to try to get the different hemispheres of the brain to talk to each other. So, you guys excited? Great. We're just taking one hand, reaching it across to the outside knee, switch sides. Like a little march, touch. Great. If you're like, cool, this is super easy, fantastic, you can bring elbow to knee, kind of like what we were doing with our crisscross. Couple more. Now this next one's really hard for me, so we'll see. It might be super easy for you. Now, we're going to take one leg, sweep it behind us, tap, tap. My hamstring on one side is like, so, because my quads are tight, right? So if you're like, I can't get it there, so do what you can. You might have to side bend. Couple more. One more. Now we're going to do the hardest exercise we've done all day, okay? So first, you guys ready? It's gonna be so exciting. So let's first just think of the itsy bitsy spider, okay? Finger to thumb, thumb to finger, right? Itsy bitsy spider. Itsy bitsy spider, switch one hand. Yeah, yeah. Now maybe this is where you are. No problem. Maybe you go, you take it to one finger, two finger, three finger, four finger. So instead of just pointer finger, you then take it to middle finger, and then to ring finger, to pinky finger, to ring finger, to middle finger, to pointer finger, to middle finger. I told you, hardest exercise of the day. To ring finger, to pinky finger, to ring finger, to middle finger, to pointer finger. Nice job, shake it out. We're going to find a tiny bit of balance. Hopefully, now that that's any detritus between the hemispheres of the brain is cleared, hopefully balance will be even easier. So just close your eyes. See if you can feel any shifting that your breath and gravity have, or like affect your balance, and see if you can feel how that can make a little shift happen. It's fine if it does. Find your feet, push into the ground, lift one heel. Your toes can stay down. Now feel that little bit of noise that's happening in that stable foot. That's okay. It's just your proprioceptors figuring out where they are. Now maybe you'll lift the foot where the toes are pointed down and see how you feel. And then we get to switch feet. So push that foot down, lift your other heel, And then maybe you lift the foot, maybe not. Couple more breaths. Bring both feet down, flip your palms to the sky, open your collarbones. Give yourselves a round of applause. Nice work today. Very, very good work. Thank you so much.